We interrupt the Hammerbarn Project podcast feed to bring you this breaking story. Frank has the details.
Thanks for that, Nora. Well, Hammerbarn people, it is a banner day in this house. We have got some canine news that, to be fair, we've been sitting on for a little bit of time, but I'm going to start it off with something that I think we've been dying to do on this show. Here's to you, Brendan. Because, oh my God, this is pretty exciting.
Words and feelings. Normal.
Everything's totally normal.
Words and sounds.
He's pretty much been doing this for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
He's been vibrating constantly.
Normal mouth, words, sounds.
All right.
Easy.
What are we
How
actually
about-
referring to?
How about I lead it in, Brendan, and you can tell us. You can tell us as much as you're allowed to tell us. Now, what we are, of course, referring to, for those who haven't been on our social medias lately, and or seen the Bluey recent announcements, they have announced they're doing a 28-minute episode. Well, actually, 2 new episodes to drop. What is it? Ghost. What's the first one?
Basket.
Ghost Basket is a regular episode coming out on April 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the 28-minute special, basically 4 chutney chimps back to back. That is The Sign is the name of that episode, coming out a week later on April 14. That will be a global release as well. So before all our international listeners jump up in arms going, what's an ABC iView?
Is that the first time that's happened?
I believe so.
Potentially. Yeah.
Normal.
Everything's normal. Everything's fine.
Fine.
As part of that press release, they released a wonderful thing of, hey, look at all these amazing voice casts that we've got there. We've got, they announced a whole bunch of returning characters. I believe we've got, was it Rads and Frisky coming back for
Patrick
The Sign?
Bramall and Claudia O'Doherty.
Mm-hmm. And Brendan, who were the other voice casts who are making their debut on this episode?
Well, there's Rove McManus.
Rove McManus, of course, an Australian icon.
Deborah Mailman.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Another.
Yep.
Joel Edgerton.
Yeah,
Mhm.
love him.
And some little guy, Brendan Williams.
One of these things is not like the others.
Can you tell which one just doesn't belong?
So Brendan, you're doing a voice on Bluey. Normal.
Though that's it appears to be the case, and I don't know what to do. So here's
your mono.
okay. There are words for things. This is not one of those things.
Right.
That there. So here's.
How about, do you want me to lead you? Do you want me to lead you? Have a drink?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'll lead you into it a little bit. I'll set the scene. Now that the secret's out there, we have been sitting on this nugget of information for a long time now. Basically, back in 2002, we had barely started the show. I think we were all of maybe 20-odd episodes into Hammerbarn. And, of course, when you do set up a podcast, you do the website, you get the email address, all that sort of stuff. Now, I was the technical person, I set all that up and was, I'll be honest, barely checking that inbox because there wasn't a lot going on. There's the odd spam that you get because it's a Gmail account. That's fine. Randomly one day, I just thought, it's been a week. I might as well check the Hammerbarn thing. One email from a Sam Moore.
Yeah.
Basically saying, hi, I'm one of the producers here at Ludo. We were wondering if Brendan would like to come in and do some voice work for us. Please let me know. Now, straight away, I've just gone, this feels spammy. Like I vetted it, right?
Yeah.
And look, I wanted to believe, I think we all probably do when you get those sorts of emails. But I vetted it. I was like, okay, let me.
You sent him your credit card details.
Yeah, I paid
Sam
via
Moore, I
Apple.
believe, is a Nigerian prince. I think.
Yeah, paid via Apple iTunes vouchers as requested.
Yeah.
But went onto LinkedIn, could see the photos with it, same sort of profile pic, verified the email address had actually come from Ludo. It wasn't a spam and all that. And I was like, okay, this is legit. So I rang Brendan middle of the work day. I forget what day of the week it was. But this is like January 2022.
Yeah.
And so I ring Brendan and he's driving in the postie van as he is. And he's like, hey man, what's going on? I said, do me a favor, pull over.
Uh.
You're gonna what? Oh, okay.
I remember where I was too.
Yeah,
I was between 185 and 198 Range Road North, Upper Hermitage,
Beautiful.
SA 5131.
and yeah, basically told him, and it was just silence, just nothing. I thought the call had dropped at one point, and I was like, Brendan, are you okay here? Yeah, that's pretty much what I heard.
Yeah, lots of things in the brain, rushing, many things.
And I think after the silence, like once it sort of, it had began to sunk in, you just went, forward me the email so I can reply to Sam, obviously. And look, I think I've just delivered the wrong mail to a wrong secure letterbox, but I don't really care right now.
Yeah. Oh, I had to. I had to rig up some gaffer tape and coat hanger wire to get the parcel out. Those secure boxes are really good. That was really hard to do. No, well, okay. So here's my dilemma, right? So you guys know that Paul Kelly is, like, as an example, Paul Kelly is like, to me, a very important musical act. Now, our mutual friend, this is my dilemma. Our mutual friend, Luke Ferguson.
Yeah.
He went to Ross Trevor College.
Yeah.
Now, Paul Kelly, world-class artist, actually went to Ross Trevor, so he's a local Adelaide boy, right? And Frank, you went to Ross Trevor as well.
I did.
So you went to the same school as Paul Kelly.
Correct.
A fact about which I'm very envious. But Paul Kelly came back one day, and what they do with the Rossi band is every now and then they'll get acts that went to Rossi, like I believe Glenn Shorrock or Ross Wilson.
Not sure.
Forgive me,
Wilson.
Ross Wilson. Yeah,
I do not know.
Says the St. Nicky's boy.
I am not the person. I just keep moving.
Yeah, the Gleason kid and the St. Ignatius kid are telling the Rossi boy who went to Rossi. But Ferg plays trombone, or used to. He plays lots of things, but he had a chance to play on stage with Paul Kelly. He has never let me forget that.
Oh, yeah.
And he has gone on and on and on about it. I want to hurt him. And he won't shut up about it. Okay. Other end of the spectrum. A few years ago, Paul Kelly did a Christmas special thing on Triple J where he invited artists on. They had a showcase. They had a thing and he hosted it. And I won't name names. It was Courtney Barnett. But she came on, right? And I like, so Courtney Barnett splits the crowd. Some people really, really don't appreciate her music. I like other people, and I understand that, but I also understand the other side of things where her voice is very fresh and her insight and some of her writing is really good. Now, Courtney Barnett seemed to not really, it was really cool and relaxed. And I took a little bit of umbrage with this because Paul Kelly asked you to be on thing.
Yeah.
And she wasn't freaking out. Now, this is all on me. I'm just projecting this, and I'm sure Courtney Barnett is lovely. But Courtney Barnett, if you get asked to do something by Paul Maurice Kelly and you don't flip out, I don't know. I don't know. So that's my dilemma. Yeah, turns out I got a chance to record some dialogue for a special episode of the Australian children's television program Bluey. I still do not believe those words as they're coming out of my mouth. But what do? Do I be a Luke Donald Ferguson about it and go on and on and on to everyone close to me until they all collectively want to defenestrate me out of a bullet train? Or do I just be a Courtney Barnett and act like it's no big deal when in fact it's the biggest deal that there is to be?
Well, to be fair, you've had to like on the download and correct me if I'm wrong, I assume there was paperwork around don't tell anyone, NDA type stuff. Of course there would be. That's pretty standard stuff.
There's a little bit of that, a little bit of just
a little bit of good faith.
Good faith. Yeah. Lots of good faith and so to the point where I've probably gone to the extreme, and I wouldn't there were lots of details that I didn't give out even when I probably could have, but I just was so scared to stuff something up and they'd be like, oh, that guy, cut.
Yeah.
That guy's cut.
Yeah. Yeah. So to be fair, you've done let's call it the Courtney Barnett, for lack of a better phrase.
Sorry, Courtney.
You have
like very talented.
Been super chill. As I said, this all spun out in January of 2022. Here we are now in March of 2024.
Yeah.
And you did it. As terms of like keeping a lid on it, and now obviously we knew as far as the Hammerbarn project, we obviously knew what was going on. Coincidentally, after Brendan had done his recording, how did we manage to get Joe Brum on the show? I wonder if those two events are linked.
We have a recording somewhere of just before we hit record, I think already, but just before we cut into what we would include on the Joe Brum interview podcast, we did discuss that and say, Joe, how much can we say? And Joe himself said, I don't mind you talking about it as long as we don't go into any details or anything or spoil anything. But we had so much else other to ask him about, we never even got around to that. But yeah.
So, all right. So we've established this is what happened. Now, the bit Marty and I probably don't know is the actual recording itself. What was that? You're a person who's done a bit of recording in music studios and stuff in your time.
Yeah, cool.
How does voice acting sort of compare to that?
Well, that helped a little bit, knowing a little bit about recording, and I have done a little bit of acting and ads and things, so I got a little bit of an idea, very, very pedestrian, but a little bit of an insight into just recording and production and stuff like that. So that helped a bit, so I didn't completely melt when I got in there. But turns out we're in Adelaide, right?
Yep.
And of course Ludo, everything's over in Brisbane. And so a little bit of liaising with Sam Moore, who we mentioned, and Lauren Brown, another producer on the show. Maybe I forget, Lauren, I forget your position. You might be Sam's assistant or just another part of the team. And all these people, loveliest people, I had to liaise with them on email a little bit. And they'd found a studio in Adelaide that has the certain kind of microphone that Ludo liked to use and that Dan Brum likes to use, and etc. And so I found there's a studio in Adelaide. I hope they don't mind me naming Justin Asterbury studio, I believe. And he was such a legend. And I got to go in there and I smashed out the mail one day, because it was in the middle of the day, and I'm just like, I might have made some mistakes that day as well. But got in, Justin was a legend, made me feel at home, and Joe Brum zoomed and gave me a bit of direction through some of the lines and stuff. And it was just, I've got some photos. Maybe I'll send you a photo, Marty, if you could put it on the Insta of me in the studio and see, this is all me. This is all the stuff that I've just it was such. I'm just full of gratitude for the whole experience. And in fact, the experience itself was so nice and so lovely. And it was so lovely of Joe to honor our show like this. And just Joe said that. He said, look, he said all our voices would have worked in different ways, and he wanted it to be a salute to our podcast, which collectively we're just so grateful for. And because I knew that the other reason why I didn't mention too much and have stayed completely silent on the podcast for 2 years, because that's just how long these things take. And I've done enough projects to know that the showbiz is a slow moving wheel in the production phase, and I had no expectations of it happening any sooner. And even if the Disney, because now it's part of the Disney BBC thing, so they often dictate. It's not just Ludo, it's the production companies that they affiliate with. Just they kind of call a lot of the shots in terms of release dates and whatnot. And these things, I mean, it's a brilliant show. Of course, it's going to take time. But I didn't want to ruin anything and didn't want to upset the apple cart like that. But also, I know that nothing is final till it's final in showbiz. And funny story, I heard in an interview that Joe Brum was talking about the what was it? Stories episode? Is it Stories with when Jack? When Winton kind of turns into a Stories, and with Major Tom the talking horse.
Yes,
played by Lin-Manuel Miranda. You can't roll up newspaper because this is an actual episode. But apparently, Joe Brum was temping the voice for that. Joe Brum was doing the voice of Major Tom, and then they got Lin-Manuel Miranda. And so I had in my head, look, if Joe Brum, the creator of Bluey can be replaced in a voice, who the hell is Brendan Williams? They will cut me in a fraction of a second if they need to, and that's totally understandable. So I've spent the last couple of years just going, look, I'm not going to say anything, and I'm not going to tell too many people because I don't want to do 1,000,001 take backsies when if something should happen that I can't be included. So my mindset was, thank you for asking me about like the actual production and recording and everything, because that experience alone was so good, and I was telling myself, if that's all it was, and couldn't be a part of the thing, it was still such an honor and such a cool experience. Whew. I'm talking a lot.
I'm going to take you back because, I do remember that discussion we had with Joe. He's like, oh, it could have been any of you guys.
Yeah,
but,
he's so sweet.
And I think that I remember saying to him, he's like, he was being exceedingly sweet and saying, sorry, obviously it could only be one person or something like that. I hope you will. And I remember saying to him, making him laugh and just going, I'm still angry. I'm still angry. It wasn't me. But in the reality of it, I think getting Brendan to do it, I am having as much joy by being in Brendan's radius.
Yes.
Oh, what, you guys.
And that it was this
the joy he takes from this experience just comes to all of this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, and it comes back to that dilemma again, like, if I went on about it as much as my internal inferno of gratitude is screaming at me to go on about it, it would, like, I want to control myself. But honestly, it's just it's just the best thing, and I'm so grateful. And thanks, guys.
And so, we just can't wait till, April 7th, but most certainly, April 14th.
Oh, man.
What day of the week is it? Do we have to is it a Saturday or a Sunday?
Oh, that's a good question.
It is a Sunday, I checked.
It is a Sunday.
It is a Sunday.
All right, okay.
So, watch party?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think we have to.
Yeah, we'll have to do it. Yeah. Everybody, watch party at my place. Address to come. Funny story. One of Erin's school mum friends.
Yep.
When she put it on Instagram, like, because I'm not much of a social media guy. I did dabble in the Facebooks and the Instagrams, but I don't do too much in there. Otherwise, I'll never get anything done. I'm not good at time management. So on my behalf, like some of my siblings, when I said, yes, look, the Bluey website has put it in their blog.
It's out there.
Let's talk about this. And so the line was, I did email Joe and say, Joe, I don't want to bother you. Don't respond if you don't want to, but just letting you know that open quotes.
Making their Bluey voice debut, this special episode introduces Rove McManus, Deborah Mailman, Brendan Williams, and Joel Edgerton.
End quote is perfect. One of my favorites. Is hands down my favorite sentence ever written. I said that to Joe, and he thought it was a bit of fun. But yeah, no. Her mum friend did say, look, does that say Rove McManus, Deborah Mailman, and Brendan Williams, or Rove McManus, Deborah, Mailman, Brendan Williams? Is there anything else to this guy's identity? Which I thought was pretty funny. Dear.
Well, look, speaking of social media, naturally we put it up on our socials. Marty takes care of the Instagram. I tend to do the Facebook.
Don't tell them that. Then they'll get mad at me.
Why would they be mad at you? But we've had obviously a little bit of feedback. Now, we've obviously been in on this since the beginning, but some people who have been following the show for a long time, some people we know from outside of the show in our real life, have sort of responded. I think my favorite was our mutual friend Mel's response.
Oh, hey, Mel. How you doing?
Yeah, it was in all caps. She says, "Oh, my dog."
Nice. Hey, that's she gets it.
Yeah. There were some questions around, oh, my God, really exciting. What breed of dog do they have for Brendan?
Now that's one I'm still keeping close to the chest.
Okay.
So you do know.
I suspect I've been. It's like anything could change as well. Like so, this was 2 years ago, and the script I got. I hope they don't mind me telling you stories. But it's the big episode.
Yeah.
So the lines that I got were actually redacted. Like I didn't see the script or anything. I know very little, so my answers might either be wrong or changed because it was very early days. But I have a suspicion about what kind of dog I'll be voicing, but I'm not saying anything because
Fair enough.
because I'm just mean like that.
Yeah, evilness.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
coming through.
Yeah, good.
One here from Tim, who I know has been following the show for a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Brendan's character is scripted to be anything like the way he talks on the show.
Ah, well,
Take that as a
let's
good
hope not.
positive or a negative. You know, you can,
Let's hope not. I don't know. I think, it
you
was.
can't answer that. Sure.
Can't really answer
Yeah.
that.
No, okay.
No. You got something there, Marty?
From the Instas,
I'm
we've got.
so nervous. If I'm speaking too much, I'm sorry, Ludo.
Is that a few lawyers?
I'm just
standing
very
outside
excited.
the door? I don't. It's just.
Oh boy!
I am Brendan's
After 2
lawyer.
years of
I'm
being-
also a hand puppet.
After 2 years of being really careful, I'm like, am I still supposed to be really
How
careful?
much careful? Yeah.
How much careful is careful?
But we had some great comments on the Instagram as well. Lots of love for you, Brendan. So from Aussie girl Margie, we've got congrats, such an awesome project to be part of. So stoked for you, Brendan.
You guys.
Lauren Marquez, amazing. Literally the coolest thing ever to happen. That's
Latina
Tattoo
Queen,
Gels.
Lauren Marquez.
Bluey memes. So excited to hear that. Congratulations, Brendan. Aaron says Blaze, which is
That's an old story.
Okay,
Do we
I
have
promise. The one thing I can disclose is that I didn't make a single cock up. Nothing to the magnitude of what I did on Family Feud that one time.
Kim Peterson, so exciting. Wow, so cool. The new black cosplay. So excited for you, Brendan. Can't wait to hear it from Jackie Hess. Bluey fan art. So excited for you guys. Looking forward to hearing it. Incredible stuff. Totally wicked. All those fun things.
Yeah.
So
You
thanks-
guys,
thanks
thank
to
you
the
for
Instagram
taking the
crew.
time to message, and that's so cool. Someone else said, "Oh my gosh, we're Bluey adjacent," and yes, you are. You're like it's just so cool to be fewer degrees of separation away from this show that we all love. That's
I do have
awesome.
one question here, and I don't know whether you can
Okay.
answer this one.
Okay.
This comes from Amanda, who I believe has written into the show a couple of times. I hope they let you slip in at least one, not a dad.
Oh,
Is that revealing too much?
pleading the fifth? Pleading the fifth. Yet again.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We also had the Bluey's Brisbane guys reach out to us specifically and just going, "What? You need to tell us this story." And I'm like, "We're recording, and we'll we'll tell you as much as the NDA
as
will
much as we
allow
can,
us."
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I'm so like, it hasn't happened yet. The 14th of April. Everybody, please listen. Like, the only thing that please watch rather. The only thing that makes me comfortable about speaking about this now and not feeling like we're jumping the gun is if we use this K9 news update to get you all excited and tune in and watch it over and over and over again, just to get those Ludo numbers up, because oh wow, what a show, what a thing to have been associated in any way. It's so good.
We also wanted to talk about the fact that Hammerbarn is real.
Let's do it.
Oh yes.
I got to go. I didn't get to go with you guys.
Yeah, we had to
but-
go at a separate time.
But yeah, what
because-
was the background of that? Like, I don't even know much about what happened, how it happened.
Essentially, Bunnings, which is basically what Hammerbarn was based
We
on
don't
from the
we
show.
don't call it Bunnings anymore
No,
in my family.
it's
It is
Hammerbarn.
Hammerbarn.
Yeah, we've been
Hammerbarn.
referring to it as
Better
that
name.
for ages. They basically did a cross promotion with Bluey where they had a whole bunch of sort of in-store activities. You could, you get a little Bluey ceramic figure and you'd paint it using the Bunnings. But essentially just getting kids and families into their massive, massive stores. But select stores across the country, usually like one or two in each state, basically did a total rebrand. The giant hammer on the front of stores was replaced with the actual Hammerbarn logo, had the words Hammerbarn written on it. Some stores had,
some signage.
Bluey and Bingo themselves rock up to, reveal the signage changes and all sorts.
Oh man, we were half thinking about it when we went. The staff were wearing aprons with Hammerbarn. on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
man.
green-
Hopefully some of those end up on eBay. Because,
Yeah.
Speaking
No
of,
price too high.
well, speaking of prices, the one thing that was driving people nuts was they were, of course, selling the garden gnomes. Instead of four, they had Hecuba's and Jeremy and
Holy moly.
Gerald. Is it Gerald or Jeremy? Because
Jeremy.
it changes depending on which.
Jeremy's.
no.
Yeah, that's the different episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
wonder if
Yeah,
they
yeah.
saved the name. I think it is Gerald, isn't it?
Gerald, yeah.
Yep.
Jeremy.
But yeah,
Anyway.
so and these things were selling like, absolute madness. People was $19 for a garden gnome, pretty fair price. And Bunnings literally put out like multiple posts going, we may have underestimated how much you Bluey fans want this stuff because they are selling as fast as we can get them into stores.
boy.
They tried their best. I went to not necessarily the one that was flagged as Hammerbarn in our area, but I went to a couple of other stores during the promotion, which ran for the whole of February, and just gone. It was just an empty pallet or an empty sort of cardboard structure every single time. And annoyingly, with something like this, people have gone to eBay and start flip. I've seen them go for like $60, and parents are willing to pay that because their kid really wants it. That sort of thing.
Do you
which
think
is
it's the
unfortunate,
kids that want it? Do you think it's always the kids that want? I'm not sure.
What's more annoying? Dad saying I want a new toy, or little master 4-year-old saying I want a new toy on repeat for a couple of weeks. I think there's some parents who are out there just go, do you know what? Worth it.
I'd push to the front of the line with kids in it. I don't care. Step aside, kids. I'm bigger than you.
Well, now you just surely.
What are you going to do? Fight back?
Now you've
Twice
got
your size.
little. Now you've got this little card where you can just be like, Wayne and Gus, backstage passes. I've been on Bluey. Is this cool, Alice? Like you're going straight to the front of that line.
Well, I
every time.
do have a tattoo artist friend, and I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there.
And is it fair to say that now that you are, have done this, what is going to be probably your most famous piece of voice acting? Are you just you're just mates with like Rove McManus and Devon Joel? They're co-workers.
They're just my
right?
colleagues, man.
Yeah.
This is just like Neil Finn, Natalie Portman,
You've worked with
Blue
them all.
Wiggle, Lin-Manuel and Miranda. We're just hanging around in the staff room.
Yeah.
Just arguing about who has to clean the microwave. That's just my life now. That's just my life.
But yes, we went to the Manapara store.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Manapara West,
so
which
that
is
was great.
so far away.
I know. I didn't realize how far it was.
When I went there one afternoon because I've had a really busy Fringe Festival season. I really wanted to be able to get there with you guys, but I was in Port Lincoln or
schedules did not allow it.
Yeah, no, it didn't work. But I went there one afternoon after work. I just thought I'll just pop to Manapara West. And I mean, maybe this is me being an Adelaidean whinging about something that's 35 minutes away. When
Half an hour?
Yeah.
What? You can go from one side of the city to the other in half an hour.
My brother lives in Perth, and he's always paying me out for going, more than a 20-minute drive. Whereas everything's Perth's so spread out. A commute of an hour is just like your normal daily thing.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I was having a big old whinge. But that being said, you pull over the hill.
Yeah.
And it just...
And it's there.
Hammerbarn in massive letters. You could land a plane by that using a guiding light. You could see it from space. It was so good. And you know what else I really loved when I wanted to get there? I jumped in my car and I'm just like, all right, what was it? Was it the Manapara West store? Do I have to look that up? And I go, no. Google, don't fail me now.
Oh.
I typed in Hammerbarn. Straight there.
Yes.
It was listed as Hammerbarn on Google. And I just went,
excellent.
You know how sometimes when you have these little sparks of faith deep within going,
Come on,
no, I trust Google and I trust Ludo. This is what's going to happen. And straight away, somebody listed it as Hammerbarn.
Nice.
And it took me there, Hammerbarn, everything opening hours, Hammerbarn.
Yeah.
I just thought that's the extra mile. That's the extra mile.
Wonderful.
And as much as I whinge about driving more than half an hour, I would have gone 1,000,000 extra miles to see Hammerbarn. Hoo-wee. Long old K9 news update. It was supposed to be a little sneaky little break.
Yeah. Break implies something small and quick.
This is not a normal K9 news. This is not normal news. This episode is not a normal episode. It's a big old long episode coming up, April 14. So
this is like cutting in with breaking news, really, isn't it?
Yes.
It's just going to take over
one of
every
those
channel
news
for a
stories
while.
that's on everywhere,
Yeah,
all at
that's
once.
it.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Thanks for doing this podcast with me, fellas.
No worries.
Still disbelief.
Here as your second and third wheel, we're loving this.
So, you're complaining about Ferg going on and on.
Yeah.
I'll be the one just going, remember that time I asked you to start a Bluey podcast and you got famous?
Oh boy. Oh, what a thing to happen. Me oh my. April 14.
Oh, yes.
2024. Get ready. And let's
Come
not
to
forget.
the watch party.
Let's not forget the week before.
No.
Oh boy. I make a lot of jokes about being the postman and knowing where people live, and it's all coming back on me now. But let's not forget the week before as well, 7th of April.
Yeah,
Ghostbasket. Let's do
Which
it.
looks to be
I'm
their
so excited.
Halloween episode from some of
Ooh,
the trailers.
okay.
Sort of implying. But
And
as
I feel like there's maybe some grannies in there.
yes, grannies have
Oh,
that's been
grannies
confirmed to make an
Oh,
appearance.
we love the grannies. Everyone loves the
Can you
grannies.
imagine the grannies collecting candy if they're on Muffin's little scooter?
Oh.
Oof.
Oh, man.
Great. We shall see. April 7, all shall be revealed. On April 14, the most exciting watch parties are happening in Adelaide since we lost the Grand Prix, something like that.
I remember that well. Ay. Oh, wow. Still don't believe it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, listeners. Thank you for all your messages. What an exciting time to be a Bluey fan. Yes. April's going to be amazing. Bring it on.
And back to you in the studio, Nora.
Thanks, Frank. Now here's Snickers with the traffic.